How's it going, everybody? My name is Waddles. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back to the 4 Simple Farms mini-series. Last episode was all about crop farms, and today's episode will be all about mob farms. Today I have 4 simple mob farms to show off to you. Some of these farms are for hostile mobs, some of these are for passive mobs. I would like to say thanks to Nick Cook and a few others for dropping this idea down in the comments of the last episode. What episode do you want to see next? Tell me down below. Leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you really like it, and let's just start going at the farms. So our first farm of the video is a very simple water trap, as I am calling it. This is a farm for pretty much everything that swims in the water. As you can see here, it's pretty much just magma blocks on the seafloor. These can be in whatever shape you'd like. However, I do advise you to make these little pattern areas at least 3 thick and have them drop down a little bit. So once mobs get in this thing, they cannot escape this thing. Now, this is going to pretty much catch any mobs that swim into it. If I had a fish that actually swam into it, I think it's right on the outside. But if I did have a fish inside of here, that fish would get pulled down and killed on the magma blocks, just as that poor drowned was a moment ago. Now, if we go under the water into my collection room, we can see that I am running a mine cart with a hopper in it right underneath these magma blocks. That is to pick up all of the items that are dropped by the mobs that are killed by the magma blocks. After this minecart with the hopper and it picks up all of those items, it drops off all of the items into this chest right here. Now, this is what I have from running this farm for just a little while. Ignore the kelp and the minecart with the hopper. The kelp is from setting the farm up, and the minecart with the hopper was placed there by yours truly. However, these drops are from the farm. The bone meal is from fish, and the fish is from fish, and then this rotten flesh is from drowned, of course. So this is a pretty simple thing to set up, and if you set up a few of these in the ocean around, say, your base, or say, just wherever you go a lot, you might find that you have a nice and simple passive source of fish and maybe even a tiny bit of bone meal. And who knows, maybe, if you're really lucky, some drowned loot. This farm will work on the Java edition as well as the Bedrock edition. The rail track shape will depend on whatever shape your farm ends up being. Next up, we have another farm that works on both versions of the game. However, it will work a little bit better on the Java edition. This is a very, very basic slime farm down here. So to set this up, you need to find a slime chunk. Once you have found a slime chunk in your world, go down to at least Y39. It could be on Y20, on Y37, whatever you want, at least Y39 though, and dig out just one chunk. So right here, one chunk has been dug out by me. And then I placed a golem roughly in the center of the chunk up in the air with some way to kill the slime below this golem. Now you could go the classic cactus with some hoppers running on the ground around that cactus, or you could do something with magma blocks and again a minecart line running underneath those magma blocks. Either way, though, you will want some way to kill the slime, so that's up to you. And when digging this chunk, make sure you block off the outside caves, at least so the slime cannot escape into the caves, because you won't want that. The rates of this farm will not be amazing. I advise you to light this farm up as well as some of the caves around this thing. However, here is the farm in action. If we have a slime spawn, the slime will run over to the iron golem because they hate the things and try to kill it. However, the slime is killing itself, unfortunately, and you will eventually see that the slime in your farm keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until they all die on the blocks. Now, as you can see here, the problem with using magma blocks, how I have here, is the fact that some slime balls will not land on these magma blocks, and so you'll have to get a little more expansive with your rail line. So I do prefer using cactus and just kind of doing it that way. Well, that's all up to you. Set up your whole collection and killing area however you'd like. This will be a nice source of slime balls early on. However, later game, this will not be ideal at all. This next farm is unfortunately a Java exclusive farm. I set one of these up in my Bedrock world and it didn't work. cows were getting thrown outside of the thing, and yep, it just didn't work for some reason, so I believe it is Java only. Sorry about that, Bedrock players. But right here is a very simple mob crusher farm. Now, I like to use these with cows, but you could be using these with pigs or sheep or really anything you'd like. This farm works off of entity cramming. I believe the number of entities you can have in one block at any single time in the game is 24. Once you get a 25th mob in that space, one mob will be killed off. So you get a whole ton of cows inside of one of these things, and then you walk up to them with some wheat, start feeding them, and cows will die off. Now the game chooses to kill off the grown-up cows for some reason, so that means you will get leather and uncooked beef down in a chest below. Setting this thing up is pretty easy. I do have some standing water right where the cows are standing. I think I can break this block real fast and show you. Right in there, there was water. And then I have a hopper going into a chest, a staircase above the chest so I can open it, and then fences on top to hold the cows from bobbing in and out. Previous to 1.13, you could use a dispenser to dispense and pull out the water as you wanted. However, when I set this up in 1.13 with the dispenser, I found that cows were getting thrown outside of this thing similar to how they were on the Bedrock edition, so I just tend to put the standing water in there. It's easier early on anyways because the dispenser can be a little expensive. Trying to get that bow on your first night or two, that might be a little hard. To start this thing off, I recommend building it, of course, getting the water in, and then getting 2 cows inside of this farm. Then blocking it off and breeding the cows to further populate this little farm. And our final farm of this video is probably my favorite farm of the video. I thought this was pretty cool when I figured this out. This is a very, very simple drowned farm. So here's the farm itself. It's just a little box sitting on the seafloor. Kinda dangerous, I know. However, very, very simple. So when you're setting one of these up, go down to the seafloor and set up a small room. As you can see right here, I've used solid blocks, slabs, and then fence gates to prevent water from spilling into this farm. To get water out of the farm, early game, just fill it in after you set up your fence gates and slabs and all of that, and then break the blocks, and you should be good. Now, if I was in survival down here, we will see that the drowned that have spawned around in this area will be attracted over to me. You can then stand inside of this thing and kill off the drowned, slowly but surely, and then swim out of this thing when you are ready to collect all of their loot. Now, it is a little tricky to hit these drowned, however, you can hit them. You just need to move around a little bit and be patient, and as you're seeing here, I am killing them. Now, it's dangerous, so be very careful. The drowned don't seem to know, though, that you can actually fit in here. They just kind of stand out there. But if you do have a drowned with a trident, this is going to be very, very dangerous. So yeah, don't come to this thing empty-handed. Maybe have some extra blocks to just throw on the ground to, you know, kind of put something in between you and a potential trident drowned. But pretty nice and very simple. Now I have added a chest down here for some extra tools and food, as well as maybe some rotten flesh as well, because I have it. When you do set this farm up, make sure you are standing in a block of water as well. Otherwise, the drowned will not target you as they normally would. If you have this water here that is connected to the outside water, the drowned see you as in the same body of water as them. And so they will target you from pretty far away and wander on over to you to try to kill you. Now, the reason my drowned rates are so good right now is because I have caved out the caves around here. Just as you maybe would with the slime farm that I showed off earlier, you will want to cave out the caves around wherever you're setting this farm up. That will decrease mob spawns inside of those caves and focus mob spawns on the ocean floor, like what is going on here. And just as I said earlier, if you swing out of your farm every once in a while, go up to the surface, you will find all of the loot floating up here. Of course, this isn't really ideal. However, this is meant to be a very simple farm, and that's what it is. This was a very, very easy way to get my hand on a shell pretty fast. And yeah, just keep in mind, the more that you cave out around this thing, the more spawns that you will get around this thing. If you really wanted to go overkill and use this farm long term, you could go ahead and light up the ocean that is farther away. So maybe something like way over here, I could light up so I can get drowned, spawning closer to that farm and, locking onto me sooner. This drown farm will work on both Java Edition as well as Bedrock Edition. However, on Bedrock, I find there are easier ways to collect up drown, such as pretty much just idling on the surface, and these things will just spawn and come over to you. But those are my 4 simple mob farms for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do you want a step-by-step in-depth tutorial on any of these farms? If you do, go ahead and ask me below, and I could possibly get to working on that. Which farm was your favorite? What do you want to see next? Let me know down below. My name is Waddles. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.